A Swift Kick in the Ass, episode 140. Life is challenging and difficult. No one gets out alive. Time to suck it up, Buttercup. Get ready for a monster-sized boot aimed to help you get traction on personal change and get living. I am John Curran, your host. Join me as I share my journey, exploring the forces that motivate us to change and help us get through whatever life throws at us. A swift kick in the ass. Life on your terms. Welcome to another episode of A Swift Kick in the Ass. This is your host, John Curran, and today's topic, be someone you're not. Yes, people, you heard me right. I'm saying be someone you're not. It seems like these days, the conventional belief is that we're told to be ourselves. Be yourself. Be true to yourself. Be honest and open. And I have to kind of call people out and say, no one is really going to do that because it makes you vulnerable. And it's okay, and you should be yourself with yourself. Be true to yourself. Be happy with yourself. But you're not going to be showing, you're not going to expose your full open and unabridged self to just anybody. Now, this is not a new way of thinking. Back in the 1970s, the singer-songwriter Billy Joel wrote a song called The Stranger. I'm just going to pull out a couple of lyrics from it because I think it's very relevant. Billy says, "We all have a face that we hide away forever. And we take them out and show ourselves when everyone has gone. Some are satin, some are steel, some are silk, and some are leather. They're the faces of the stranger, but we love to try them on." And this is exactly, I think, the key to creating a better life for yourself in some instances. Experience matters, and the truth is that we're not all equal. And what we need to do is we need to create opportunities for ourselves. Sometimes that requires us to create a character for ourselves. And that's really, now that I have, your attention, that's really what I want to talk about. I want to talk about how you can use a character as a basis for creating positive change in your life. Now, what do I mean by that? I'll just use myself as an example. So, life gets tough, and it's time for you to get tougher, really. At least that's the way I saw it, especially back when my friend Tom died. I felt like I needed to change and create a lot of changes in my life. So what I did is I started on taking on things that would help me develop my character. And one of my character elements was, as I said, to be tough. So I joined Taekwondo. I did want to spend time with my son. My son is turning 12 years old, and he's a black belt. But I wanted to spend time with him. That was one benefit. But I also wanted to get into better shape, and I really felt like I was weak in some areas. I did not feel like I knew how to defend myself very well, and I wanted to do that. I have a big mouth, and I want to be able to take a stand, honestly, and not be afraid to speak my mind. That's part of my character development. Um, and not only do I want to be tough, but I also want to be well-rounded. So I started picking up guitar again and really taking it much more seriously and teaching myself taking guitar seriously and learning how to master that instrument. I did take some private lessons and so forth. Um, but I love playing guitar now. I play every day for several hours, as I mention all the time on this podcast. And, I'm been doing Taekwondo now for several years now and am about 6 months away from my black belt. So all of this has contributed greatly to my character and to the how to those that I present myself to in this world. People who see me and people who get to know me, they realize these things. They know about these things that I do. They knew about this podcast. Some of them, not everybody. I'll talk about it to everybody. I do again feel like I need to be guarded because this is just for fun for me. It's not my main source of income. It's not any income at all, really. Would I love it to be? Would I love to become a public speaker and a motivational speaker and travel around the world helping people create positive change? Yes, absolutely. That's part of why I do this, to help develop myself, develop my character that I present out to the world. It's not that I'm not who I present I am. I am who I am. But there are many different sides to me, and what I present here on this show is selective. It's what I choose to bring forth and to make myself vulnerable about. That's a decision that I made in developing this character. And it's funny, as I was writing down, my notes about this show, I remember thinking when Tom and I first started the podcast, even before we laid down our first episode, I was thinking about a character. Should I put on a voice? Should I even use my own name on this podcast? And Tom's suggestion was very, it was a good suggestion. And it was just be honest. And I think that that's good. And I think what we were, and I think that people understand when you're coming across from an honest point of view, or you're trying to be honest. I think people understand that, and people understand too that there are limits to honesty. You can be totally honest with somebody, but not be completely honest, and I don't see anything wrong with that. In fact, that's part of going back into what started out this whole conversation about being someone you're not. Sometimes you have to be someone that you're not. Sometimes, and pardon my language, and if there are kids around, cover their ears. But you have to be an a-hole. You have to be the jerk sometimes, because and you have to take a stand. It's not that you want to do that, and it's not really who you are, but it's something that you need to do in order to assert yourself and to call out to the world to say, hey, you know what? I'm not going to take this anymore. You may have to do that. You may have to take on elements, bring out elements of your personality that you don't necessarily like, but you have to use them because that's what you've got. So you can apply them in ways that are useful to you to help develop yourself in the ways that you see fit. That, to me, is living on your terms. Helping to make clear, conscious choices about who you want to be and what you want to do with your life. So, I can hear, I was try to put myself the uh, into the place of my audience, try to understand who I'm speaking to. And I can see that some of you might be thinking, you know what? I am being myself. And myself has some challenges. Again, I think this really does play into, again, my suggestion about be someone that you're not. You really, may want something really bad, or you see that something really needs to happen. But the fact remains is that you are not happy with your terms. And right now, you don't even want to be yourself. You want to be someone else. But you really can't be anybody else. Again, you're put on a face, a facade, a mask that you put away and put on and take off as needed. So think about what purpose these masks serve. If you really need that paycheck, you're going to want to create the impression that you're an excellent employee and that you're worth every dime, really, that they're paying you, and even more. And that develops as part of your character, and that's the impression that people are left with. But again, especially at work, we do need to set limits. And when we talk about being ourselves, I've learned in the past that sometimes it's not so good to talk about yourself because people will hold that against you in some cases or use that to their advantage when it serves them. It's not to say that you're doing anything bad or immoral or unethical or anything like that. Just daily things going on in your life. When people know about them, they can use that to their advantage and your disadvantage. This is a dog-eat-dog world, and the world is competitive, and people are going to try to get ahead. So especially in a work environment when there might be cuts or something and it's you versus them, people are always going to take their own side. So set some limits. Recognize what those limits are. That's all your choice. And then I'll use family as a example of being someone that you're not. My daughter is in show choir, and her school is awesome, and they do an amazing job. They have an amazing show choir program. And it's really, really cool. It's a great, great program. But I, for one, I'm not into musicals. I'm not into choirs. It doesn't, I love seeing my daughter in it, but it's really not for me. I just don't enjoy it. I never have. But for my daughter, I will put on a brave face. I will go willingly. I want to see my daughter perform. But when she's on the stage, everyone else just fades away. The spotlight is on her in my eyes and in my mind. And I will put myself and my own needs aside and be someone that I'm really not. And I'll enjoy that time in that show, and especially watching those kids perform. I know how much time and effort that they put their heart and soul into it. And I respect that, and I appreciate that, and I love that part about it. But hopefully you see what I'm getting at. I want to foster a good relationship with my daughter, so I'm willing to do things to progress that relationship and grow that relationship, and that changes me as a person, and it helps define my character. Teaching myself how to play guitar and really learn how to play, not just, I can strum a couple chords. No. I mean, really taking it seriously and learning about the instrument and learning how to really play it. becoming a musician. That is a character. Becoming a black belt in Taekwondo. Becoming a martial artist. That's part of my character. Maybe there's something that you want to do. Maybe you want to be a ballroom dancer. That's what my daughter is talking about. That's what really excites her, and that's what she's passionate about. She wants to be someone that she's not. And I want her to, pursue that and learn about it. And you know what? If you learn that that's someone that you really don't want to be, or you start going down that road and you find out, hey, you know what? This is taking me down a path I really don't want to go. That's okay. You learn that. That's important. Because who you are right now, you're just going to be building onto who you are right now. And hopefully you're going to be continuing to change for the better. But I would expect to have ups and downs, trials and tribulations, and we're going to keep learning and keep getting our ass kicked until the day that we die. And I think it's kind of a beautiful thing. Life is pretty awesome. Whether you are trying to be yourself or trying to be somebody else, it's really important to enjoy the moment and not be so overwhelmed by the conditions and situations in your life that we can't see, that this will end. So keep kicking ass and try being someone you're not. You might find out that you're more like that than you realized. This is your host, John Curran. This is a Swift Kick in the Ass podcast. Until next time, peace. This marks the end of another episode of A Swift Kick in the Ass, placing it directly in the can. As much as I like to talk, even I have my limits. It's time to go. Catch me on the next show. For better or worse, whether you like us or not, please leave comments wherever you get your podcasts. Follow us on Twitter. Visit our home on the interweb. I think you can leave me a voicemail there. You can also email me at john@aswiftkickintheass.com. It's been my extreme pleasure. I hope you got a lot out of it. I hope you got your ass moving. Until then, until the next time, I'm out of here. Peace.